don't know if you know this or not, but you possess the ability to destroy evil. That's right, take a look at this. Ubisoft shares soar over 30% as Tencent and Guilmont family reportedly consider a buyout, among other options. That's right, we're looking at this right now that Ubisoft is headed into private sector. They're not going to go out here into public anymore. I mean, private in the sense of investment, not in like the sense of government control. So what we have right here is that thanks to Game World Observer, we have some information on how this is going to work. Now, as you know, a little earlier this year, approximately about a month ago exactly, I believe it was September 9th, I think it is in this article even, AJ Investments, a European investment group that is a minor investor, not to the size of Tencent, but a minor investor in the Ubisoft investment portfolio, stepped forward and said, hey, we've got 10% of the people who have an investment in your company, and we're telling you that it's time to do something about these plummeting profits we're seeing. Because again, even if this company sells off its assets, the investors are still going to be able to reap back some of the profit out of that. So it does make sense for AJ to say, close Ubisoft and liquidate everything. So rather than doing that, rather than going in and auctioning off all of their different studios and this sort of thing, piecemealing it out to Microsoft at this point, the situation instead appears to be that Tencent is either going to assume complete control over the whole situation, or they're going to go out and completely put the whole thing up for sale, in the sense that the investment portfolio will stay the same. However, the management and direction and overall ownership of the company changes. It's not unheard of. It just doesn't happen very often. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an economist. I don't have a degree in business. So there's nothing, I've got nothing here to give me like any credentials on what the inside information is. I'm just what I put together, being able to do research on this and paying attention to how these people are talking to each other and the different information they bring up in the emails they're making public back and forth with Ubisoft. So amid ongoing stock price turmoil, the Guilmont family is considering various options for the future of Ubisoft. This includes potential sale of the company to the Chinese tech giant Tencent. Tencent and Guilmont Brothers Limited, which is owned by the Ubisoft founders, is currently in talks with advisors on the company's future. Anonymous sources familiar with the matter told Bloomberg, this is who originally broke the story, that they are considering the following scenarios to stabilize the business. Now, as you know, they've had plummeting stock prices, but also that's because their games aren't selling. They've had like bomb after bomb after bomb recently, and it looked like Assassin's Creed Shadows was going to be the next one. So the situation as it stands right now that Bloomberg was able to get out into public is that we're looking at this, we're looking at this situation with the Guilmont brothers teaming up and creating a new company, I guess, with the Tencent investors. Because again, the entirety of Tencent may not be involved in this. You have to understand that Tencent, like most corporations, has different departments that handle different things. So this may not be the owners of Tencent that are participating in this. But I do want to say that we have a breakdown of the information provided to us by Rhino. You remember Rhino? It's a nice guy there. Here's Rhino, and he broke it down for us here. So there's a little more comprehensible in the article, and we'll go back to the article if we need some more information. But this kind of hems down the fluff, I guess, to pad out the word count. So what's going on is that there are multiple games that are underperforming in 24, as I pointed out. Lost half its market value in 24. And again, if you go back and take a look at that over 5 years, they've lost 80%. They have dropped to a 11-year low, like in 11 years. Like that means it's back in 2013 was when their stocks were this low. Okay, that's vastly before the pandemic. So we have now one of the options is to go private, as was listed before, the two companies teaming up together, or Tencent entirely owning the company by itself. Talks are still in the early stages. This is stuff that's just getting out this morning. There's nothing signed on the dotted line. Nobody said absolutely this is what we're doing. There's no certainty for the agreement. Understand that right now they're just trying to solve a problem, and it appears that this is what they're okay letting people know. as we showed, the shares are going up. The share price is going up as people approve of a decision to remove the Guilmont family as controllers of the brand. And so Tencent currently owns 10%, as we noted here in the other part of this. And neither of the entities have come out and made official commentary as to whether or not they're going to be making a deal on this. And so that's just the overview here. I want to go, yeah, it's here. Here's the stock price as provided by Game World Observer. And as you know, this is Ubisoft Entertainment SA. So if you want to go take a look at it on Google for yourself and see how this has climbed, as you could see, just as steep as a fall was about a week and a half ago when they announced the shuttering, if you will, the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows, so too as a climb happened now. Of course, it dove off as they had to cap the trading in order to make sure that it wasn't bots. I guess that's what happens when so much trading happens in a certain period. They have to shut it off in order to make sure that it's not fraudulent. So that remains to be seen if it's fraudulent or not. Like, that would be an interesting twist, wouldn't it? I'm not somebody who knows anything about this. This is just me speculating that, they make a approving sort of stock market shift with any development coming out of there. And so it looks, positive to the investors, like, oh yeah, well, all these other people are seeing change. So I guess we should see the change too, And so once again, Ubisoft again had to bring down their financial targets. Like I said, they had to announce a delay on the Assassin's Creed Shadows game, but they also came out and admitted that the Star Wars Outlaws game ended up underperforming just so massively that it's only sold 1 million copies in being active for almost a month now, being out in the market for almost a month now. That would be great if you're like Inner Sloth with Among Us. So we know there's so many more downloads, right, with Among Us, but that would be great if you're just an indie studio, you're a startup, you're doing your thing, one of your first games out of the slot there, real basic graphics, doing your best with some cute little jelly beans in space, that kind of stuff, right? Nope. Yeah, this is Ubisoft. This is quadruple A gaming. Remember, they're elevating the brand, elevating the market, and nah, that's not what's happening here. They've finally broke through, I guess. AJ Investments finally broke through and explained to the Ubisoft Tencent investors that this is not going to get better. The more money you pour on it is not going to make the fire go out. It's just going to make the fire hotter and higher, so it burns more. Now, I can't imagine, like we revealed earlier this year, like I think it was just about 2 weeks ago, about the Ubisoft boot camp pipeline to hell, where they were building all of these militant activists and then sending them out with letters of recommendation from Ubisoft to get them inserted into various other companies to carry this activist mindset into game making still. So again, even if Ubisoft is shut down, the after effects of their influence over the past, I would argue 7 years at least, if not 10, considering what Assassin's Creed Shadows looks like. So their influence over the market over the last 10 years is not going to disappear if they end up restructuring or going private or doing a complete 180. They've still poisoned so much of it with this activist thinking, provided with the money from the investors who thought they were getting a return on their work until it finally, return on their investment until it finally came to the market. So again, we're full of like all kinds of, I don't know. I would say it's bittersweet in this case. I don't want to see Ubisoft go away. Okay. As a company, I think that they're rotten to the core and they absolutely need to change. But I think in their offerings, they shouldn't go away. I don't think another company could handle Assassin's Creed as well as Ubisoft has when they do it right. Because when they do it right, they do it really right, right? There's only been a couple. Assassin's Creed 3 for me did it really right. Number 4 didn't. That's why I didn't go for it, I don't think another company can helm that property as well as they have. The same with Rainbow Six, the same with the Tom Clancy stuff. It's a different attitude than what the Call of Duty games have. It's a different attitude than what even the Halo games have. It's a very, I'm not sure if it's their idea of stealth, I guess. It just seems to be much different than any other studio. And so I don't I don't want Ubisoft to go away because at least for the developers that they had on these games, I hope they don't lose their jobs if they haven't already, you know what I mean, gotten fired for, but it would be nice to see these people, this company rather, succeed, whereas the people do something else with themselves, perhaps sell cat food. They seem to know a lot about it. So again, what I'm stressing in all of that isn't that Ubisoft is off the hook or that they're good people or that they're just misunderstood. What I'm trying to stress is that we're not looking at a company that is 1000% evil. Their offerings are not the product of evil. There were good things for a minute there. Just a minute, just a little minute. And I'm sure you know of other Ubisoft games that they should be focusing on, just like AJ Investments said earlier. We covered that earlier as well, that AJ Investments wanted them to return to the classics, if you will, of their properties. And so if you guys can remember, we had I asked you before on a list for these games and Ubisoft had made before that you want to see come back. There might be a distinct chance of that now. I mean, we understand how the Chinese view African Americans, Africans at least. You saw what they did to good old Finn from Star Wars The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that one. I thought it was Rise of Rey for a minute there. Sorry. It might as well have been. But that's what I'm talking about is that, they airbrush that guy out of the posters, because they have a problem with Africans apparently. So if Tencent ends up in control of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm not sure what'll happen to Yasuke, especially if this sale happens before the February 14th release. They might be preparing for that already, which is why we see Yasuke's role being diminished. Like, we don't know what's going on. Like I stressed to you at the beginning, I am not any type of professional as far as investment goes. I am not any type of business decorated person, right? I'm not a people chief, like over there at Ubisoft with their people chiefs. I'm not a people chief. I don't know. This is me speculating in the dark, but it seems like now that we understand that Tencent stands to be the ones to take over this, that might be why Yasuke is being diminished in his role in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Again, it's another blind grasp in the dark, but it does explain why that's happening in light of all their effort to make such a big deal about him. And now all of a sudden they're throwing that down a flight of stairs. So I don't know, man. I don't know. 30% is a pretty big rise in stock price, though, because of this development. So that shows that people are interested in Ubisoft surviving. They've not completely given up on it like maybe Firewalk, perhaps. But we'll see. Again, you'll have to let me know down in the comments what you think that Tencent Ubisoft, Tubisoft, I guess we call it that, Tubisoft. You like that? Tennisoft? Tennisoft doesn't sound bad. It's Tubisoft or Tennisoft. Let me know what you think down below. Tubisoft, Tennisoft, what should they focus on next? Assassin's Creed's kind of spoiled for the time being. I think the marketplace isn't going to take another one for a little while. They're going to need to cool off from that. So what do you think they should focus on instead? We know that there's a new Rainbow Six game coming out, but maybe you have a better idea for what to do with that rather than putting in questionable operators. So you'll have to let me know down in the comments, like I said before, and always, guys, as always, especially if you're an Ubisoft investor, good luck out there.